A warm hello to you today. If you are feeling the weight of these times, promises versus what's happening in reality, divisions surfacing all over in public life, you are not alone. I am Andrea Winn, and I'm here to offer grounded, compassionate guidance so that we can meet this moment with clarity and with courage and with care. So I was listening to Heather Cox Richardson this week, and she described it last week as the tide turning. She noted that the last 7 days, or maybe the last 10 days, have been feeling different, and that the American people are really paying attention now to what Trump and his loyalists are doing, and they are no longer giving those things the benefit of the doubt. So I would like for us to take a moment and just to pause to let this sink in. So Heather's, like the core message was that it's beyond just political. It's a call to stay grounded so that we can respond with integrity. And when she says that the tide is turning because people aren't giving the promises the benefit of the doubt, we can translate that into daily conversations with people and decisions that can really demand accountability. And so, just to anchor this in, what she said is that the American people are really paying attention now to what Trump and his loyalists are doing, and they are no longer giving those things the benefit of the doubt. And that includes Trump supporters. So there's a practical takeaway that in conversations, we can name the gap between the promises and the outcomes, the economic realities, the job openings, and the healthcare costs, so that we stay anchored in truth and service. So the economics and the policy realities, they are starting to touch daily life, is what she talked about. She highlights that unemployment is higher and inflation is rising. And the health costs, they are shifting due to Trump's policy changes. And this really can anchor our guidance in our lived experience, not just in what the headlines are saying. The policies aren't abstract. They hit people's kitchen tables. Ground your discussions in concrete impacts, and then offer practical, ethical pathways forward to whoever you're talking about. And also, Heather also talked about that for many, the human impact of the border policy is real. She talked about grandmothers being deported and the terror of ICE presence and troops in cities. And in the face of this, as warriors of peace, we can lead with compassion and dignity, and we can invite solutions that protect families. And so just again, to just anchor this into what Heather said, the very act of crossing the border without documentation makes you a criminal. And this includes grandmothers. And this is really touching the fabric of who we are as Americans. So democracy, we all know this. It isn't a side issue. And Heather describes attempts to weaponize events like the death of Charlie Kirk and criticism of media. And the invitation to us is to model lawful civil discourse and defend constitutional norms through constructive action. And so let's talk about this center of gravity shifting that Heather is proposing. She's suggesting that there's a shift towards center ground leadership as the scrutiny is really coming to light. It's not about abandoning values, it's about widening our circle to protect rights and invite broader participation. And so just to anchor this into exactly what Heather said, the center of power may be moving toward more centered grounded approaches as scrutiny rises. And so here's what I would like to really add to this discussion, that grounding is the muscle that is going to sustain us through this possible turning of the tide. So grounding, it isn't avoidance. It's the sturdy platform that lets us to show up in our lives with the people that we are talking with, people in our care, and also the people that are challenging to us. And Heather's Turning Tide moment invites us to anchor in daily practices that keep us steady for the long arc of this change. And I think that it's also helpful to bring in the topic of the law of attraction, one of the universal laws. We can draw on the law of attraction to bring in the new reality that we want. So as the tide's turning, what's going to take its place? We can employ the law of attraction to bring in the new reality that we want. And it's not just in opposition to what's been happening under Trump. We really need to envision this new reality. And your inner state shapes your outer world. And when you cultivate a sense of safety and patience within yourself, then you're able to come from a place that creates constructive solutions. So I would like to propose just to give you 3 quick steps that can really help you to move forward with the sense of a practice that is grounded and that can bring you forward in a steady way through this time of possibly a very big shifting of the tide. So the first step is name the change as if it's already true. So in this case, could be a democracy-centered leadership that respects rights and protects the vulnerable. So first of all, name the change that you want to see as if it's already true. The second step is daily feel as if practice. So visualize this wonderful democracy-centered leadership and use affirmations to really anchor it in, and journaling 3 daily actions that are aligned with this positive future. And then the third step is to translate that feeling that you've developed within yourself into action, and speak for truth and compassion, and support local initiatives, and participate in forums with calm resolve, really anchored and empowered by the visualization work that you've done for tapping into this law of attraction. So if you are drawn to this kind of grounded and compassionate approach with real world leadership impact, the Warrior of Peace coaching group may be a very viable calling for you. It's a group that I'm offering. It runs for 6 weeks, and there are only 6 people in the group to keep an intimate group. It includes chakra grounding, energy mapping, short daily home plays, and journaling to really anchor in your changes over the 6 weeks. The group is beginning October the 13th, and there's a 50% off promotion that ends this Friday, October the 3rd. So if you would like to check out the group, I'll include a link below where you can learn more, and you can also apply. So it's an opportunity that I would very much like for you to consider if you're serious about really developing a strong daily practice that is going to empower you to be grounded and sane and be able to speak from a very empowered place through this time ahead, hopefully with the tide turning. So I will invite you to ground your leadership and to align inner peace with your outer action. And if it calls, join the Warrior of Peace coaching group to turn your inner insight into outer impact. And you can see the link to learn more about the group and apply in the description below. So I would like to wish blessings on your noble journey through all of this mess. And may we all lead with compassion and integrity. Blessed be.